Hello YouTube and welcome to Full Dottle, a channel dedicated to tamping topics such as pipes, tobacco, lore, and more. I am your host, the Bearded Briarman, and without further ado, let's get lit. Welcome back everyone, and on this episode of Full Dottle, I'm going to be telling you the history of Cornell Diehl. But first, a little housekeeping. I am smoking my 7LE673KS rusticated Oceano, and in it I've got some Cornell Diehl Blue Ridge. Cornell Diehl's heritage has roots that begin more than 100 years ago. In 1880, what is presently known as Cornell Diehl started as the Atlas Blending Corp of New York. Although the more familiar tobacco blends at that time were Virginia and Burley based, the Atlas Blending Corp focused on manufacturing English blends. Jack Creamer, a young master tobacco blender, bought the Atlas Blending Corp in the 1950s and moved the operation to Carversville, Pennsylvania. Jack quickly established the business in the old Carversville post office building, where he displayed the large barrels used to ship the raw tobacco leaf in front of the large plate glass windows decorating the building. Mr. Creamer's operation was primarily that of a wholesaler to tobacconists around the country, with limited direct sales to customers who couldn't find Atlas Blending Corp tobaccos elsewhere and wished to visit the operations center in Carversville or contact the company to purchase their blends by mail order. In 1972, Jack Creamer retired and sold Atlas Blending Corp to Sol Lefkowitz, who moved the company to Long Island, New York. Mr. Lefkowitz decided to rename the company after his wife, a well-known exotic dancer that went by the name Amar, and for the first time in the history of the company, Atlas Blending Corp underwent a name change to become Amar Blending. In 1990, Craig Tarler, Director of Marketing for a public relations agency, was about to travel to England with his wife Patty for vacation. 2 weeks before Mr. Tarler was scheduled to depart, his boss invited him to lunch, but after they had finished dessert, his boss informed him that his position was being eliminated. Craig and Patty decided not to allow the news to dissuade them from their vacation and continued planning their trip. Craig, being a longtime patron of Atlas Blending Corp and later Amar Blending, decided to put in an order for tobacco to take with him on his travels. When he contacted Mr. Lefkowitz for the order, Mr. Lefkowitz informed him that he was selling the business. After careful consideration, the Tarlers decided to purchase Amar Blending upon returning from England. Once home, Craig submitted a business proposal to secure a loan in the amount of $17,500 to purchase the business, which consisted of a few bags of tobacco, some flavorings, a card file of blend recipes, 3 or 4 hours of verbal instruction on how to blend, and a list of approximately 175 individual customers and 100 brick-and-mortar stores that carried the Amar Blending tobacco blends. Craig and his cousin's wife drove to New York and loaded a van with the business assets before traveling back to Pennsylvania and beginning operations in the garage of the Tarler home. Once operations were scheduled, Craig renamed Amar Blending to Cornell Diehl after his middle name and Patty's maiden name, respectively. In 1994, after a little over 3 years in business, Craig and Patty moved to Morganton, North Carolina to be closer to their grandchildren and once again set up operations in their family garage. Craig's experience in public relations gave him the skills necessary to promote the company, and recognizing the potential of the internet, established their online presence in 1995. Craig and Patty worked tirelessly on growing Cornell and Diehl as a pair until 1998, when they hired their first full-time employee. Craig and Patty's efforts were paying off as popularity for the Cornell and Diehl brand grew. The Tarlers promoted their business by filling several tables at pipe shows with large displays of the Cornell and Diehl tobacco blends, as well as developing a friendship with the editor of Pipes and Tobacco magazine, where the brand was promoted in featured articles. This growth was starting to create obstacles for the Tarlers due to the limitations their 1,000 square foot garage placed upon production. And in 2005, Cornell and Diehl expanded into a new 5,400 square foot building. Cornell and Diehl continued to expand into international markets such as China, Malaysia, Switzerland, Israel, and Japan. Cornell and Diehl also began producing the GL Peace line of tobaccos, as well as Two Friends, a series of collaborations between Gregory Peace and Craig. With the increased workspace, Cornell and Diehl was finally able to acquire much-needed equipment and additional staff, paving the way for a transformation into an internationally recognized brand. In 2012, after growing Cornell and Diehl from a small part-time retirement venture with his wife Patty to an internationally recognized mainstream product, Craig Tarler passed away. Cornell and Diehl survived Craig's passing with the continued dedication of Patty Tarler and a little outside help. Few people knew that Craig and Patty had been consulting with Sykes Wilford from Ladisi Enterprises about a possible merger out of a need to modernize Cornell and Diehl. And in 2014, the merger was complete. The modern production and inventory controls Ladisi Enterprises offered was exactly what Cornell and Diehl needed to continue the company's upward trajectory. Shortly after the merger, Cornell and Diehl relocated their operation to the Ladisi Enterprises headquarters in Longs, South Carolina, where they enjoyed a workspace almost 3 times larger than the one in Morganton, North Carolina. In the first year of the merger, production was about 19,000 pounds of finished tobacco. 2015 finished over 27,000 pounds, with 32,000 pounds in 2016, 44,000 in 2017, and 56,000 pounds in 2018. With production more than double what it was in North Carolina, Cornell and Diehl moved yet again to a larger facility 2 miles from Ladisi headquarters into a facility with almost 30,000 square feet of dedicated space where they are located today. With the expert help of master blender Jeremy Reeves, who has completed 3 courses already in USDA tobacco labeling codes covering flue-cured tobacco containing 156 different grades, dark-fired tobacco containing 57 different grades, and air-cured tobacco most recently, Cornell and Diehl manufactures tobacco under several different brands, including Briarworks, Costello, GL Peace, Captain Earl's, Two Friends, Dracures, Low Country, Kramer's, and the Maverick brand in Russia. Surviving her husband by almost 8 years, Patty Tarler passed away at the age of 90 on May 9th of this year, leaving behind a legacy enjoyed by nearly every pipe smoker. Craig and Patty Tarler accomplished an enormous feat with Cornell and Diehl, won the YTPC honors every time they get lit. That's going to do it for this episode of Full Dottle. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And until the next time we see each other, I bid you farewell and happy piping. Goodbye, everyone. Don't forget to enlist in the Full Dottle platoon. It's easy, just click the subscribe button. Also, hit the bell icon to be notified as soon as I upload the next episode.